Hi, welcome. So we're going to do a little beginner video. If you are brand new to yoga, if you've never even thought about doing yoga before and think it might be time to try it. So you're brand new right out of the box yogi, never rolled out your mat before. That's what this is about. So beginning, you've got your mat. Quality does matter with yoga mats. I endorse Manduka. I think they're the best. There's some other good ones out there, but Manduka is great. They stand behind their product for life. So if you have a Manduka, there's circles on the bottom. Those circles face down. So the stickier part is facing up. So first things first, get on your mat. Make sure it's right side up. It'll be stickier that way. And then you find a seat. The beginning of your yoga practice, you want to start to cultivate the breath. So that's what makes this different than anything else you do, is paying attention and the breathing. Without your intention, without the breath, you're just going through the motions and it's pretty much gym class or aerobics, and we can go other places for that. So yoga is special in that regard. So in the beginning of your practice, you find your breath. You can do that through lots of techniques, but for simplicity's sake, we'll start seated. Stacking your spine. You want a tall spine, so the hip bones are on the floor. Pull the navel in so you feel the low back protected when you engage the core muscles. And then your shoulders are over the hips, the ears are over the shoulders. If it's comfortable, you can close the eyes, or if you'd rather not close the eyes, you can just shift your gaze down. So right away, just start to notice your breath. Notice how you're breathing, the quality. And then we're going to start to shape the breath. So as you breathe in through both sides of the nose until you fill the lungs to their capacity. Pause when the lungs are full, and then breathe back out through both sides of the nose. Keep breathing like that, in and out, using only the nose. Keep the face relaxed. The back of the neck is long, so to achieve that, you keep lifting the crown of the head higher, pulling the navel in, and you feel a subtle stretch through the side body. You're still paying attention to the breath. And the tendency, our human nature, is to stop the exhale before we're really empty. So we work on completing that breath cycle now. And then you'll carry that complete breath through the practice. So here at the beginning, you'll find your breath. You'll set your intention. So maybe something you hope to accomplish by practicing your yoga. Maybe a person, a place, someone or something that needs this energy you're going to create. If you need the energy, you keep it. It's yours. So once you have your intention, once you've established your breath, now we start to move a little bit. So typically we start to bend the spine or the neck. So tuck the chin to the chest and then lean the left ear toward the left shoulder. Pick up the chin a little bit so you find a stretch through the right side. You can bring the left hand on top, fingers rest just above the ear. Let your right arm be heavy. Fingers can reach to the floor or maybe out toward the side. And you're breathing into that stretch you feel on the top of your right shoulder. Keep the breath the same that you established in your seated posture beginning. Take one more breath in. And then as you breathe out, let the left hand come down. You can use the left fingers to press the head back to center. Pause here. Just notice maybe the right side feels a little longer. And then go back the way you came, chin to the chest, and then lean the right ear to the right shoulder. Adjust to find that stretch, and then the right fingers can come on top. Use the weight of the arm. You're not cranking on the neck or pulling or forcing. That's not really the yoga we're looking for, is forcing the body into places it doesn't really belong. So you should feel a stretch through the left shoulder. You should feel the breath inside the body. And your attention is settled. You're calm. You're present. Take one more breath in. And then use your right hand, bring it to the temple to bring the head back to center. And now notice both sides of the neck, maybe a little more even. And now from here, we'll come over onto hands and knees. Tabletop. So there's lots of ways to start, but just for simplicity's sake, we'll start with the spine, the main energetic channel in the body. So from here, in the beginning you were seated, so the spine was stacked. Now the spine is long behind you. Pull the navel in. Feel that same protection in the back. Hands are under the shoulders. Spread the fingers so you feel the webbing between the fingers stretch but not pulling. And the knees are underneath the hips. Tuck the toes under, stretch through the bottoms of the feet. As you inhale, lift the tailbone, the chest, the chin, look up. And then as you exhale, point the toes, press the tops of the feet down, round the spine, look toward your navel. Do that 4 more times with your breath. As you inhale, arch. It's called cow pose. Apparently your belly here is like your udder. And then as you exhale, round like a Halloween cat. This is called cat. So cat, cow, flow. As you inhale, arch, open. You're flexing the spine, you're arching the back, moving energy from your tailbone toward the crown of the head. Let's take one more. Feeling your strong, sturdy foundation. And now come back to center. Pull the navel in, protect the low back. Now from here, tuck the toes under. Feel the stretch in the bottoms of the feet. Turn the eyes of the elbows forward. Push into the heels of the hands. Find that arch in the back. So you want an anterior tilt in the pelvis. Then push into the feet to lift your knees up like there's a hook on your tailbone, downward facing dog. So bend the knees, and just like a dog, dogs don't really care how they look here. They just do what feels kind of natural. So when you find your down dog, find what feels natural. If you need to pedal the feet, kind of pushing into the arms, leaning to one side, then the other, stretching the shoulders, the back. Eventually, you'll find some stillness here. So the feet are about hip distance. The heels line up behind the second toe. You can keep the knees soft so the tail stays high. Arms are by the ears. Biceps are next to the ears. Elbows are straight. You're pressing through all of the knuckles, especially the thumb and the first finger. Try to turn the edges of the elbows forward, the biceps draw together. And now as you start to get warmer, more experienced here, maybe the legs start to straighten, the heels start to reach toward the floor. There's no rule that says they have to touch, especially if your hamstrings are tight. Your down dog can have bent knees the whole time, and it's a lot. It's a big pose. So if you're in down dog and it gets to be too much, you come here to table. All these poses can be modified to fit your body, to fit your breath, to fit what you need to happen in your life. Now, from your down dog, take an inhale. As you exhale, look toward your hands. Walk toward your hands until you come all the way to the top of your mat. Your feet are about hip distance. Bend your knees a lot so the rib cage lays right on your thighs. Let your head hang. Forward fold. If you want to grab opposite elbows here, that's kind of a nice adjustment. The fingers on the elbows gives a little weight to the upper body so you can decompress the spine. Keep the chin in so the back of the neck is long. And then here, as your hamstrings open, as you get more experienced, you can start to straighten the legs. Keeping in mind that the heels stay under the hips, hips over heels. So you're not leaning way back or leaning forward. You're finding center of the feet, the balls, the heels, the toes are soft. Hang here. Let gravity take the upper body. Keep the core engaged. Anytime you're folded forward, your abdominals are locked in. Now release the elbows, bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, half lift. Feel the shins move back, the heart moves forward, looking just ahead of the toes. Upper arm bones are drawing toward each other, so the shoulder blades draw together on the back. Stay here and breathe. Feel the length of the spine behind you. Feel the grounded quality in your legs. Take one more inhale, half lift. As you exhale, soften and fold. Now bend your knees, reach your arms forward, reach through the elbows all the way up to stand. Once you're standing, reach the arms up more. Bring the palms together, bring the hands to the heart. Now mountain pose. So you step to the top of your mat. Feet are about hip distance. Tailbone is heavy. Abdominals are engaged. Chest is open, palms face forward. Chin is over the sternum, so the back of the neck is long. The toes are soft. You're still on the center of the feet, the balls, the heels. Find that grounded quality there through those bones. Lift the kneecaps to engage the thigh muscles. Feel your breath here. The core is engaged, so your breath is mainly in the upper chest. Feel strong, feel stable, sturdy, standing in your skeleton, in your mountain pose. Now we're going to do half sun salutations. So most of your vinyasa classes are based on the sun salute. Back and forth, up and down your mat with lots of poses in between. So this half sun salute is a good way to kind of warm up, links the movement with the breath. So on your inhale, reach the arms up. They can be alongside or forward. And then as you exhale, bring the hands together. Chin stays tucked in, fold forward all the way down. Now once you're folded forward, hands to the shins, breathe in, lengthen, lift halfway. As you exhale, soften and fold back in. Bend the knees, reach the arms, inhaling the whole way up, pausing at the top. As you exhale, bring the hands together, back to the heart. That's one. We'll do two more. Inhale, arms reach up, look up at the top of your inhale. As you exhale, hands together all the way down, Uttanasana, a forward fold. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana, it's Sanskrit for a half lift, forward fold. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, stand up, reach up, open. As you exhale, palms together, hands at the heart. One more time. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, half lift, lengthen, look forward of the toes so the back of the neck is long. Your exhale, you fold in, one movement, one breath. Inhale, stand up, reach up, the length of the inhale matches the motion. Exhale, palms together, empty with the hands at the heart. All right, now we're gonna add on. We're gonna do a few full sun salutes, but I'll show you some modifications. So just keep working these with breath and movement, linking them together, and the more you do it, the easier it will be as far as keeping the breath pace with your movement pace, if that makes sense. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold all the way down, core stays engaged. Inhale, hands to the shins, look forward of the toes. As you exhale, put the hands on the floor, step back to plank. So the hands are under the shoulders, same way as table. Your legs are straight. Heels are over the center of the balls of the feet. Shin bones draw together. If you feel plank a lot, like it's hurting your low back, lift your hips a little more. If you're not feeling it enough, drop your hips down. So you should feel every muscle from your chin to the top of your pubic bone firing to hold you up. If plank is too much, come to the knees. Pushing into the arms, drawing the biceps together like your thumbs are pressing into imaginary blocks. Your biceps are pressing toward each other. So the arms are very active, the core is active, the back of the neck stays long. Take one more inhale here and plank. Use your exhale to put the knees down this first time. Elbows bend back, go slowly all the way down to the floor. Once you're to the floor, untuck. Slide the hands back by the low ribs. Press the toenails down, lift the chest. Keep hugging the elbows in, back of the neck is long. Stay with the breath. Same breath, different shape in the body. Keep the legs active, inner thighs toward the ceiling. Take one more breath in Cobra. As you exhale, lower down, forehead, chest back to the floor. Use your inhale to touch the knees down, press up onto fours, tabletop. Tuck the toes, arch the back. Lift your tailbone, downward facing dog. Now back into down dog. Notice how it maybe feel a little different, like the pieces kind of click more into place. You've been here before. Now from your downward facing dog, lift both heels as you inhale. As you exhale, bend your knees, look at your hands, walk to the top of your mat. Once you get there, soften and fold in. Keep the knees soft if the hamstrings need that to happen. Let the head be heavy. Now on your inhale, hands to the shins. Lift the chest halfway. Push the shins back. Exhale, soften and fold. Bend the knees. Reach the arms. On an inhale, stand all the way up. As you exhale, palms together, hands to the heart. We'll do two more. Inhale, arms reach up. At the top of your inhale, look up. As you exhale, forward fold all the way down. Use your inhale to lift halfway, long spine. As you exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Once you get to plank, find the elements, the heels over the balls of the feet, eyes of the elbows forward, shoulders out of the ears. Find your core. Take an inhale, rock forward. As you exhale, maybe the knees, but just go halfway this time. Elbows stop at the ribs. Inhale, untuck the toes, let your hips drop, a little higher cobra. Keep the hands back, chin stays in, back of the neck long, hug the elbows, juice up the legs, spread the toes. Take one more inhale in cobra. As you exhale, lower chest, lower forehead. Use your inhale to press to fours, and use your exhale to tuck the toes, arch the back, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Biceps by the ears, push the floor away like you're trying to move the earth underneath your mat. Take an inhale to lift your heels. An exhale to bend your knees, look at your thumbs, walk or take a giant step to the top of your mat. Your inhale pulls the chest forward, lift halfway. As you exhale, soften and fold in. Bend the knees, reach the arms all the way to stand. As you exhale, hands to the heart, pause. One more time. Surya Namaskara A, full sun salutation. Inhale, arms reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Give yourself one inhale in plank to rock forward on the toes, and then as you exhale, chaturanga, stay on the toes, elbows bend halfway, empty lungs. Flip the toes, lift up on an inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Up dog is different. The toes are spread, the tops of the feet are on the floor, hands are on the floor, thighs are lifted. Squeeze the inner thighs so you're not collapsing in the low back. The legs are active. Inner thighs are rolling toward the ceiling. Belly button forward and up. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, flip the feet. Keep the core engaged, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Breathe it all out. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look at your thumbs, step or walk all the way to the top of your mat. Once you're there, halfway lift, inhale. Exhale to fold. Stand up, press through the heels, reach through the arms. Exhale, hands to the heart. All right, now we're gonna break down a couple poses, useful poses for sure in your practice. Chair pose first. So big toes touch, the heels maybe an inch of space. Inner knee bones touch. Bend. Tailbone is heavy. Lower abdominals engaged. Chest is open. Biceps by the ears, or hands can be at the heart. If biceps by the ears feels crunchy and the shoulders too crowded, bring the hands into the heart to modify. Now, every pose that you take in your practice, you have a spot that you look with your eyes. Your two eyes find one spot to focus on. It's called a drishti. So your drishti in chair pose is the end of your nose, or if you drew a line from your nose to the floor, that would be your sight line for this posture, looking down slightly. Stay with the breath. The toes are soft, you're not gripping. The face is relaxed, the forehead is smooth. Stay with the breath. In and out using only the nose. Take one more inhale in chair. As you exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Let that go. You can shake out the legs a little bit. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, soften and fold back in. Bend the knees, come back to chair. Take an inhale in chair. Exhale, stand up. All right. So from chair, or from standing, left leg back, like so, long step. Warrior two is where we're going. So your right heel intersects your left arch. Your left toes angle toward the top of your mat. Hands to the hips. So the left hip can press forward, the right hip can lift, and your right knee moves toward your right baby toe. Front ribs are down, low back is long, arms extend. Squeeze your triceps, look over your right hand. Shoulders move down toward the back, or toward the hips on the back. And then you feel strong from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Everything is active and engaged here. Like you're wearing a suit of armor. Your core is strong, your arms are squeezing, your legs are active, and your breath is moving free and easy through it all. Now from your warrior two, your right knee stays over your right ankle, the outer edge of your left foot keeps grounding. Left hand to your left hip. Keep pushing that left hip forward as you reach up with your right arm. Go up to the sky as high as you can and then curl back for reverse warrior. So the whole pose is about bringing your right elbow away from your right knee. Lifting your left chest slightly so you're not collapsing onto your left hip. Take one more breath in. And then we go to side angle as you breathe out. The legs are the same. Right elbow kind of pushes that knee forwards, keeping that angle. And then shoulders stack, left shoulder on right shoulder. If it's better in your shoulder to reach the arms straight up, do that. If you have the space, the range, reach the left arm over the left ear. And then your drishti for this posture is the palm of your left hand. If you can achieve that without cranking on your neck or forcing anything, do that. Right knee is still on the right ankle. Take one more breath in. As you breathe out, come back to warrior two. Take an inhale, soften the knees a little bit. You're going to take a big step to the top of your mat as you exhale. Whew. Back to mountain. And now palms by the sides. Just notice right hip from left hip. And we're going to do the whole sequence, those 3 poses on the other leg. So step your right leg back. Good. Left heel intersects your right arch, right toes angle toward the top right corner. Left knee toward your left baby toes. Right hip will move in, left hip will lift. Squeeze the arms. Look over your left hand. Notice your front ribs. If they're popping forward, try to contain them so the whole core stays active. You're externally rotating your left hip. Your outer right foot is pressing, so your right hip is kind of rolling in. Squeeze the arms. Stay with the breath. Now from here, right hand presses your right hip in, left arm straight up first, and then lean back toward your right leg. Any amount. One of the great things about yoga, when you feel it, that means it's working. You're affecting some change in your body somehow, a stretch, some energy movement. Take one more inhale in your reverse warrior. As you exhale, elbow to thigh. Use that forearm to push the knee over the ankle, and then right arm over the ear, or straight up. Keep leaning back so everything lines up over your left quad. Keep that right heel anchored. That's your side angle. Your right heel through your right arm. Look up at your right palm. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, come back to second warrior. Right arm back, left arm forward. Squeeze the arms. Take an inhale, soften the knees a smidge, and then step to the top. All right. Now from here, inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to down dog. Now from your down dog, inhale, lift your right leg. As you exhale, bring your right knee into your chest. As you do that, look at your right wrist. Put your right knee behind your right wrist. Let your left knee fall down. Tuck your left toes to scooch your left knee back, kind of in little increments, so your right hip finds the mat. If you need to put something under your right hip, a block, a blanket, a pillow, something to make the floor a little closer, do that. Now, pigeon is less intense if you move your heel in close to your groin. It gets more intense if you move your ankle toward the top left corner. Keep the shin parallel with the front edge of your mat. And breathe here for a few breaths. Now, more intense also if you tuck your back toes under and lift your back knee off the floor. You can always untuck and let the toes rest, pointing back. Keep the left hip kind of drawing forward, the right hip moving back. Take one more inhale in your high pigeon, lifted. As you exhale, fold over your right leg. Now, if there's sharp shooting pain in your right knee, don't push through that. Roll onto your back. The modification for pigeon is on your back, like so. And while you're here resting in pigeon, think about the weight moving back into your right hip, maybe into the front of your left hip as it moves down, so you're not pressing into your right knee and squeezing that joint. It's into the bigger joints, the hips, they can sustain a little more hold. Take one more breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to start to come out, and then an inhale. So breathe out and then come up. And then when you're here, an inhale, the hands under the shoulders. Tuck your left toes. Pick up that left knee, push into your hands, pull that right leg out. Give it a shake in a three-legged dog, and then set it down. Now, before you take the second side, just notice. And then we'll do the left. Lift it up. And then as you exhale, bring it into the chest, nice and close. Look between the thumbs and then bring the left knee behind the left wrist. Right toes, scooch that knee back until the left hip finds the floor or a support. And then give yourself some breath here to let the energy settle into the hips, finding an appropriate place for your heel, either close if your hips are a little tighter, or if you're working on opening them up, you can bring that shin out. Right hip down, left hip back. Check in with the knee, see how that feels. If you're good to go, then you can move forward over your shin. Keep pressing back into your hip. Surrender the weight in your head so your neck isn't efforting to hold yourself up. Let the shoulders be soft. Take a breath in. Let it all go. And then use an inhale to walk you back up. Hands underneath the shoulders. Pause here. Tuck your right toes. Pick up that right knee. And then pull that left leg out. You can give it a shake if you need to give it a shake. Find down dog. From your down dog, put your knees on the floor. Big toes are going to stay together. Move your knees apart as wide as the mat. Sink your hips onto your heels for child's pose. Let the forehead rest. Arms reach long. Feel the stretch in the side body, the stretch in the back and the hips just by the nature of this pose. Gentle pressure on the center of your forehead triggers the relaxation response. So resting here, paying attention to the breath, you lower your blood pressure, you lower your heart rate, you start to come back into a state of balance. Now from here, take an inhale, let it go, and then use your following inhale to bring the hands in front of the knees. Press up onto your heels, swing your legs around one side or the other, and you're going to come seated, facing the front edge of your mat. So right leg is going to extend long, left knee is going to bend. Anchor your hips. Turn from the waist so your sternum is in line with your first right toe. Take an inhale to reach through the elbows, and then as you exhale, fold over your right leg. If you were going to fold all the way down, it would be belly, chest, and chin in that order. So if you don't quite have the flexibility to lay your nose on your shin, don't worry about it. It's just yoga. Right heel reaches long, so the line of energy behind your right leg, and then from your tailbone through the crown. So you want to stay lifted rather than folding and hunching in. And then as you become more flexible in your hamstrings and your hips, you can start to lean a little closer, nose toward your toes. Now you're still folded forward here, so your abdominals are engaged. Concentrating on that full breath into the chest. Take one more breath in, all the way out, and then use an inhale to sit up and an exhale to change sides. Left leg long, right knee bends. Turn the chest, sternum over your left foot, and then an inhale, you'll reach the arms up. As you exhale, belly, chest, and chin in that order, or hands on the floor. You can use the fingers kind of pulling you forward, chest forward, keep the chin in, length behind you, length underneath you. Take another breath. Let it go. And then inhale to come back up. As you exhale, right leg long. Now we do side to side asymmetrical things to identify where we may be imbalanced. So notice how that felt right to left. We'll take a symmetrical pose, Paschimottanasana, to kind of bring those two things together, right and left. So anything underneath your sitting bones, Fleshy stuff, move it out of the way so your sitting bones can connect. And then ears, shoulders, hips, Dandasana. Arms by the sides. Flex the feet. Think about the inner thighs pressing down. So kind of like your half lift when you're standing in your forward fold and you lift your chest halfway. That's how active you want your legs, like you're standing on your feet. Lifting your chest, the core is engaged, so it doesn't look like much per se, but if someone tried to knock you over, they wouldn't because everything is strong and active. Now keeping that, float the arms up. As you inhale, fill up, and then at the top of your inhale, look at your fingers. As you exhale, reach through the arms, pull the navel in all the way down toward your feet, Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. As you inhale, pull the navel in. As you exhale, maybe get a little closer to the feet, belly, chest, and chin, keeping that order, keeping that length behind the spine. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. One more breath in, all the way out. Use an inhale to lift up. And then use your exhale to lower down. So pull the navel in and you're going to lower in one piece all the way onto your mat. Once you're all the way down, make sure you're on your sticky mat so the heels are on the front edge. Reach your arms over, take a long stretch. Roll the wrists, roll the ankles, just moving your fingers, your toes, kind of opening everything up. And then bringing the arms down by your sides. Bending the knees for bridge. So the soles of the feet are on the mat, knees are in line with the frontal hips. Make sure your fingers can touch your heels. And then flatten out. So your shoulders are going to roll under one at a time to lift the chest. You have 2 points of safety behind the neck and between the shoulder blades. Keep both of those areas of spine floating. You're not going to jam the neck down onto the mat. So push into the feet, push into the outer upper arms. Let the hips lift. You're not squeezing the glutes. The glutes are soft. Let the sitting bones be heavy through the glute tissue. Use the quads here. So press the heels. Feel the quads more active. Use the outer upper arms. Let the chest lift toward the chin. And breathe. Theoretically here, the belly is the highest point. So as you inhale and bridge, let the belly round like a toddler tummy. And then as you exhale, hollow it out. Pull the navel in. Inhale and exhale. If you have the space, the range in the shoulders, maybe you take an interlace, press the outer upper arms in. Take one more breath here and bridge. And then if the arms are behind you, move them out of the way. Lower down. Soles of the feet to the edges of the mat. Arms to a T or cactus. Drop the knees to the right and the knees to the left. Keep going side to side. Just feeling the hips, the low back. You can go very slow or you can move a little quicker. And then once the knees are to the left, leave them to the left. Put the left ankle on the right thigh to hold that right knee down. And then look to the right. So while you're in a reclined spinal twist, long exhales are your best friend. They'll help you to decompress, help you to relax, just like the pressure on your forehead in child's pose helps you to decompress. Same thing with longer exhales, parasympathetic response. So most classes will have you finish reclined like this, in some twists, with some back bends. And it's all leading to this culmination at the end, the final resting pose. So we're almost there. On your inhale, chin over the chest, left foot to the floor. Pick the knees up, drop them to the right. Then go to the left. And then back to the right to stay. Put your right ankle on your left thigh and then turn your chin to the left. Let yourself settle here, and sides are always different, so notice what you have. You don't need to try to fix or change, just awareness. So thousands of years ago in India, these yogis, mostly men, probably all men, were leaving their families to go meditate in caves for their life's work. And they were dropping dead from blood clots, pulmonary embolus and strokes and whatnot. So they came up with these poses to move their energy, move their physical bodies so they could sit in meditation. Use an inhale to come back, chin over the chest, right foot finds the floor, drop the knees a couple times. And then bring the knees to center, bring the knees over the chest, outside of the ribs, feet are up. Run the hands down the calves to the outsteps, hold on to the outsteps and pull the knees down. Now if the outsteps are ambitious, you can take the calves, you can take the knees, the quads, what are the hamstrings. Think about the back being long from the chin through the tailbone. You can rock and roll here, you can do what babies do, extend, bend, whatever you need here. And this is the part of the practice where you get any movement out because we're going to rest. So you move the body in any way it's needed. And the last pose we're going to take together is Shavasana, corpse pose. So it's still. Arms long, legs long. And then roll over the heels and make sure that the big toes don't touch. You don't want the feet so close that the toes touch. You want the heels far enough apart so there's space. Arms, same story. Let the shoulders move around a little bit. Tuck the chin, close your eyes. If you'd rather not close your eyes, shift your gaze down. And this is what we've been waiting for. The whole practice is about this last piece, the settling, the dropping in. Allowing yourself this time to be still, to take rest. Shavasana. Allow your next breath to be bigger. With bigger breath, start to move the fingers, the toes, maybe turn the head a little bit side to side. Perhaps a long stretch, reaching overhead, lengthening out as you inhale. And then as you exhale, hugging one knee in, hugging the other knee in, giving yourself a little squeeze, and then rolling onto your right side into a fetal position. Using your right arm to support you, left hand on the floor in front of your heart. The fetal position is symbolic of rebirth and renewal, the fresh start that rolling to your mat provides every time you do it. Press into your left hand. Bring yourself all the way back into your seat. Cross the legs, sit on your knees, whatever you need here. And then we bring the hands at the heart, Anjali Mudra, chin to the chest. Gaze down at the fingers or close the eyes. Bowing in gratitude for this time, for the practice, for the ancient wisdom, and for all of the things that keep us connected. Namaste. Thanks, guys. Beginner yoga. Hope it helps.